Good morning, gang. Happy Friday. We made it. Okay, this is the last shopping weekend till Christmas, except for those of you guys who go shopping on Christmas Eve. This is it. So you got your chance. First off, I wanted to say thank you. I went to the post office yesterday. I wanted to say thank you to all those of you who sent Christmas cards and a couple of Christmas gifts for Mrs. P and me. You nailed it on the kind of candy Mrs. P likes, by the way, guys. Uh, so thank you very much. That means a lot to both of us. I mean, that y'all would take the time to send us a Christmas card, and uh, that tells me a lot about the camaraderie we have in this family here. And yes, they're all lined up around the doors and everything like that. It looks real pretty, so it makes me happy. I love Christmas stuff up around the house. So, but thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. We talk about what are you going to do when things get crazy all the time, okay? And, some people's plan is the Alamo, I'm staying here till I go, and other people's plans, depending on where you are, is I'm bugging out. Now I want to pose a scenario to you here real quick, and just think about this. We know in 2 weeks that the new Congress comes in, okay? So the Democrats will still control the Senate, 51-49 now, but the Republicans will take over the House of Representatives. And if you're aware of the succession plan for the presidency, it's President, Vice President, Speaker of the House. It looks like the new Speaker of the House will be Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, he's a rhino, but he's still a Republican. Okay. It kind of borders on the line, depending on what it is. Sometimes he's rhino, sometimes he actually looks like a conservative. Depends on the issue, but neither here nor there. He's not of the Biden ilk, let's put it that way. So what's going to happen in Washington? Is Biden going to get more dictatorial? Is he going to start following more of the Obama mantra, as long as I've got a phone and a pen, I can do whatever the hell I damn well please? Does he just throw out Congress altogether? Hey, we're not going to worry about what Congress says. Now, let me give you a little bit of reality. Okay. Imagine this. Imagine you had a public that disapproves of Congress. 7 of 8 people in the country disapprove of Congress. Imagine 6 in 10 people disapprove of the president. Okay. And imagine the president is corrupt. And imagine all of a sudden the president is impeached, convicted, and arrested. No, this isn't the future for Biden. This is what's going on today in Peru. Okay? It's not getting a whole lot of press, and I'll explain why. 86% of the Peruvians disapprove of their Congress. Just to give you an idea, 76% of Americans disapprove of Congress. 61% of Peruvians disapproved of Castillo, who was the former president. 58% disapprove of Biden. Sounding like we're pretty close, okay? The Peruvians determined, they impeached and tried their now former president for corruption, influence peddling, trying to be a dictator. Does that sound familiar? Gee, I don't know. Any influence peddling going in Hunter's case? Possibly. 10% for the big guy? Corruption? Owned by China? Yeah, okay. We're on the same path as what's going on in Peru. And what Castillo tried to do down in Peru was basically dissolve Congress and make himself a dictator. Now, I don't think that's going to go over too well in the United States if Biden tried it. I really don't think it's that possible. But obviously, the Peruvian Congress is different than the U.S. Congress. We have executive orders, and Biden already has signed more executive orders than any president in history, and he's only been in office for two years. Okay, just saying that one. Now, is Biden going to determine he's going to be a pseudo-dictator? Yeah, that's probably the direction he's going to try to go. He probably won't get too far, but he's going to try. Then we get into the corruption case. You can almost bet, unless the Republicans, which I have a tendency to bet they will, put their balls in a purse along with, Prince Harry's, Meghan Markle will be carrying them around. They won't do anything. But they will at least investigate Hunter, and inevitably it'll all trace back to Joe, and we will find out that there's corruption. Will it be bad enough that you have Democrats come on board and say, yeah, we need to get him out of here? Who knows? Okay, doubtful, but who knows? Possible. Sure, that makes Cackling Cammy the president and everything, but who knows how dirty she is at this point. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that succession comes down to Kevin McCarthy or whoever the Speaker of the House winds up president. Again, we get the same issue that we have going on in Peru. Castillo was a leftist president trying to become a dictator. Biden is a leftist president, and the puppet masters that are controlling him want to be a dictator. Okay. In Peru, the line of succession brings in their new president, Dina Boluarte. Okay. She is a conservative. So again, I'm going to go out a little bit here, and let's say we pass Cackling Cammy, and Kevin McCarthy wins up president, and we've just switched from a selected president in the way of Biden to a conservative. I know this is tough it's everything I can to put those words and McCarthy in the same sentence. But let's just say that happens, okay? All hypothetical. But this is the part that I want you to think about as preppers. And I had to set that up so you understood what I'm talking about. The people are revolting in Peru. There have now been 15 people killed in these protests. Of course, you have leftists saying, we want Castillo back as president, that shouldn't be arrested, just like you'd have here. All of Hollywood was still saying Biden's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay, there's enough leftists around there in this country who actually think Biden's doing a good job. They haven't gotten out of this with CNN in 2 years. They haven't gone to a grocery store. They haven't put gas in their car. They haven't paid an electric bill. They think the country's good. They think, supporting Ukraine is a good idea. In other words, they're brain dead, okay? They're going to scream bloody murder because that's what leftists do, okay? They go and they burn down cities and they loot stores and they kill people. That's the leftist game plan. That's just that's the truth. Sorry, look at any of the history of what's going on. They don't get their way and they go riot, okay? Well, what about you? Especially you if you live in, New York, Chicago, Boston, California, coastal California, any big city, that is predominantly Democrat. Your plan is, oh my God, if something gets bad, I'm going to get the hell out of here. You might not be able to, okay? Because what's going on down in Peru right now, 5 of their airports. I mean, Peru's not a huge country, guys. 5 of their airports are closed. You have plenty of American tourists, plenty of tourists from around the world that are stuck in Peru that can't get out, okay? Remember, Machu Picchu is in Peru, and that's a huge tourist attraction. The roads in and out of cities are blocked off by the police. They have not declared martial law, okay, yet. I mean, that has happened in Peru recently, okay? Just a couple of years ago, they had a couple of provinces in the northern part of Peru that they declared martial law over some riots, okay? I'm just saying, have a escape plan early when things go bad. Because as soon as the rioters come out, that's when you need to go, okay? You could say, I'm going to stick around and try to protect my house. Okay, I get you. But if that's your plan, understand, you may not be able to get out much later. One thing a prepper has to do is be able to make decisions on the fly. We cannot be wishy-washy. Normies are wishy-washy. We cannot. We need to be decisive. We need to say, this happened, this is what I'm doing, boom, okay? You can't have any hesitation on the trigger. You either pull it or you don't, okay? This is it. I really don't want to have to. Screw that. It's like, okay, you're attacking me, click, you're done. All right, that's it. Same thing with getting out. You need to go, this is my line in the sand. If this happens, honey, we're out of here, okay? And as soon as that happens, you grab the keys, you get in the car, and you beat feet. Because you may be stuck where you are. It's what a lot of people are finding right now. You know, you have the former president in Peru, who's a leftist. You have the current president in Peru, who's a conservative. And they have a bunch of people that don't like that idea. And that exact scenario can happen here. Because look at what's going on here. We had a former president who was a conservative, and we have a current president who's a leftist, flip it, and people are losing their shit. And it's only going to get worse. Because now the leftists in control think they're God, think they're dictators, think we're going to bend to their every will. We're going to close pipelines and let in illegals, and crime will run rampant and defund the police. And as soon as somebody comes in and says, no, we're not doing that, they're going to lose their collective mind. And this is a distinct possibility. Looking at Peru, what could happen in the United States? The media is not talking about Peru at all. Why? Because a leftist got arrested, and they don't want to bring up the exact scenario that I just did. They don't want to put that thought in your head. I'll put that thought in your head. See you later. Pinball out.